Bigfoot Collectors Club with Bryce, Michael, and Ivy. I know a story of high strangeness or two. Let's do this.
Oh, hello. Welcome to Bigfoot Collectors Club, the show where we talk to amazing guests about their personal paranormal history and share stories of high strangeness. I am your host, Michael McMillan. With me always is your other host,
Bryce Johnson.
And our super producer,
Riley Bray.
Oh, baby, it's your BCC boys, the three of us, for a little clubhouse hang this week.
Yeah, we're doing this thing.
We're doing this thing, as they like to say.
We sure are. As
we are
the kids
doing
say.
it. Yeah. I'm getting excited because summer's coming up soon. And I just wanted to remind our audience that we do have a deal with the jet ski god Neonis, which we have not forgotten about. Bryce, quick check-in. How are things? Are you in touch with his daughter, Tate? Do you have any communication? Oh, you do? Okay. How's the jet ski dimension?
Tight. We're tight.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Could you send me her number?
Riley, what? Yeah. Oh, yeah. I can hook you up.
She just seemed, kind of interested. So.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, that's true. Last time we saw Tate, she seemed to take a shining to Riley.
Yeah. We follow each other on Instagram now, and that's going really well. It's reaction to each other's stories and stuff. But I thought maybe
Interesting. Okay. Noted.
You don't mind though, right? That's cool.
No.
Cool.
A lot of new information coming in. Just coming in fast. That's okay.
Yeah.
All right.
No, I figured I'd ask you first.
Hey, man.
Got it.
There's plenty of merch out there for the both of us.
What's weird is that
I should have used fish in the sea. That seemed like the obvious
fish in the
choice.
sea.
I didn't
Fish
even
in the
come
sea
to
is
my
the right
head.
choice. Yeah,
man.
It's weird because
well.
I have followed both Tate and Neonis on Instagram, have not followed me back. I even followed Pontoonus, and she's not following me back. So,
oh man,
man,
it's a little rough. But anyway, let me just say, the water's getting warm, guys. All right, if you're out there listening, the water's getting pretty warm. All right.
Yeah. Take that however you will.
All right, Bryce, what do we have planned for this week's episode between just the three of us?
I'm really glad you asked, Michael, because it's the end of the month, which means
it's like an infomercial.
We're diving into the mailbag and going through the L files. There are stories of high strangeness submitted by our listeners, and I love L files because we're the Collectors Club, and we are actually collecting these stories of high strangeness. Now, if you have experienced something you can't explain, you got to write to us at BigfootCollectorsClub@gmail.com, and we're probably going to read your spooky story on a future L-Files episode. So get that done. We love hearing your guys' incredible stories.
I want to say that I appreciate everybody who's sending stuff in. We're getting some repeat writers, which is okay, but we want to hear from some new people as well. And let's hear your real scary stuff, okay? Let's hear stuff that has really blown your mind, because I listen to some of these other podcasts. I know you guys are out there experiencing the paranormal, all right? So if you haven't written one in yet, then now's the time. We want to help you unpack your experience.
And look, maybe you didn't see a ghost. Maybe you had a mystical experience where you met a demigod in your dream sleep. I don't know, but I want to hear about it.
Absolutely. Maybe you fell into Loch Ness and then traveled to the undersea kingdom of Nessie and her friends. I mean,
we're going to want to hear about that.
That's definitely one we're going to read on the air. But please do send in your stories to BigfootCollectorsClub@gmail.com. Before we dive into the mailbag today, let's do a little club housekeeping. Guys, we just dropped the BCC Records three-pack. I mean, it's not really a 3-pack. They don't come together, but a set of 3 new BCC record shirt. Wolf Brother, Club Bryce, BJ and the Shadow Bats, all designed by James Mulholland. You guys, you were like, well, surely they're not going to release more merch this month.
Get yours now.
Well, guess what? We have a new merch alert. Honey Moore is back, and she has designed a sequel to last year's Zombie Bigfoot's Scary 16 Monster Showdown Ultimate Champion tee, and it's simply called Ultimate Champion 2, featuring, this year's Ultimate Champion. We don't want to spoil it. If you haven't already listened to the Monster Showdown episode we dropped back in March, but it's currently up on our Instagram at Bigfoot Collectors Club if you want to take a spoiler-filled peek. And I will say, you guys have seen it. This is probably the goofiest shirt that we've done so far.
Which is saying a lot.
Yeah. Last year, we had, I'll say for legal reasons, an extraterrestrial holding a hologram that's connected to a haunted clown book. This year, there's even more mishmash and mashups in one shirt. It's really going to be a shirt that people are going to ask you questions. What the fuck
if you like people talking to you, you're going to need this shirt.
Yeah. People are really going to scratch their heads over this one. And then I think you, dear listener, might be the type of person that will be delighted to explain what they're looking at. But Honey did an amazing job. It fits right in with last year's shirt. We're thrilled with it. It's just sort of what we asked her to draw, is a bit strange. So go check that out on the Instagram. If you know who Ultimate Champion 2 is, not the runner-up. Maybe there's still room for a runner-up shirt. I'm not saying no to a runner-up, but we had to give our champion a shirt first, okay? If you want a runner-up, write in, and maybe we'll make it happen. But I'm very happy. I'm very happy to have another piece of art in the BCC collection.
Oh, yeah. No, it feels good, man. I love the BCC merch. It's just so unique and incredible.
Yeah, guys.
We also have better merch. We have better merch for our fake bands than I do for my real band.
I guess I should say, if you want to pick up a shirt, go click the link in the show notes of this episode, or go to wearecampfire.media, click that shop button, or just hit the link tree in our Instagram and Twitter at Bigfoot Collectors Club and at Bigfoot Pod. Okay. Support the show by joining our Patreon, BCC The Other Side. For a $5 monthly pledge, you'll receive a minimum of 3 bonus episodes every month. Later this week on The Other Side, we will be discussing episodes 2 through 5 of Season 3 of Expedition Bigfoot with Bryce. And dude, there's some really weird stuff happening right now on the new season of Expedition Bigfoot.
Yeah, no doubt about it, man. I can't wait to talk to our Patreons about it, and you and Riley, of course. Yeah, it's getting weird this year, man, but a lot of great stuff.
Just off the top of my head, we got Shadow Bigfoots. We've got underwater totems. We have
perhaps a cloaked Bigfoot moving through a zone.
Yes.
Did we get to the kill site yet?
Kill site happened Monday night as of this record. So last night, Sunday night.
Yeah.
So last night.
Yep.
And that was super dark and scary. So we got a lot to talk about.
Yeah, we sure do. Join us over there.
Yeah. Bryce is going more than 15 feet into the woods this season.
Yeah.
Yeah, and operating submersible drones.
Pretty sweet, right?
You looked really cool operating that thing. I think. It was badass.
Dude, that thing was so fun, man. Let me tell you. And the capabilities of it were astounding. I mean, I just love that stuff.
You were down there looking for an entrance, a way back into the jet ski dimension, obviously.
Yes, I was. I absolutely was. Or somebody's secret stash of forest porn. Remember how we've talked about that in the past? I'm not saying somebody. It could be buried underwater. I don't know.
It could be river porn. You put it in a plastic bag, dump some rocks in there, make sure everything's sealed up tight in some Ziploc bags, and you got yourself some well-reserved river porn.
Pappy, what's that? That's my river porn. Nobody will go looking for it in the river.
Well, speaking of river porn, and by river porn I mean the other side. We definitely owe our patrons shout outs. So
Yes.
I just want to say to everyone, stick around at the end of the show. We'll be making our list or our way through this list, and over the next few episodes, I think we're going to do it. Is that what
Yeah,
you
we have a
decided?
lot
Right?
of people to thank.
Yeah, because
Love
there's
that.
a lot.
Great.
Yes,
Done it in 2022 yet. I realized I was like, wait a minute, we have
our bad.
a lot of people to thank. So we will be getting to you over the next few weeks, beginning
Yes.
with this episode. And finally,
Yes.
be a 5-star Club Scout. Give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. It helps get the show to more people. If you do, we might read it on the air, like this one.
Curious Scott writes, "Keep doing the good and true work. These odd fellas have won me over with their unique brand of comedy, topic research, varied guests, and passion. I've been binging for a minute now, and I don't see an end in sight. 5 stars."
Neither do we. Oh, Jesus God.
There's no
can
light at the
never
end of this
stop.
tunnel. It just keeps going. Thank you, Scott. And your passion
Yeah.
allows us to keep falling down that rabbit hole. So we appreciate it.
Love that. Thank you, Curious Scott. Appreciate that, man.
All right, clubhouse keeping. Let's put our brooms and dustpans away. We're all tidy up and we're ready to get into this episode. Bryce or
Yeah.
Riley, let's get ready
Yeah.
because we have some BCC news.
That's right, boys. New message to aliens will reflect on Earth in danger of climate crisis, reported by Keith Cooper at space.com. So you know that's legit.
So a
radio
new message
yeah.
is going
New
out
message.
into space.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Remember the old message we put on like a gold album, like a fucking like
Gold
a vinyl
record.
record into the yeah, totally.
Carl
And it had
Sagan's
like
project. Yeah.
a boy and a dude, like girl and a guy.
Wait, a
with some
boy and a
songs
dude.
no.
Batman and Robin?
Yeah, it was Batman and Rob. We sent original episodes
You know,
of Batman.
I'm going to get
into
back to
space.
the news story. A radio signal designed to bring Earth's climate crisis to the attention of alien life will be beamed to the TRAPPIST-1 planetary system in October. The message has been devised by METI International, a group of scientists, sociologists, historians, anthropologists, and artists who have come together with a common belief that humanity would benefit from beaming messages to the stars rather than just waiting to receive a message from aliens. METI stands for Messaging Extraterrestrial Intelligence, as opposed to SETI, the more passive search for extraterrestrial intelligence. The Goonhilly Satellite Earth Station in Cornwall, UK, will broadcast the climate change message on October 4th to coincide with the beginning of World Space Week, which this year has the theme of space and sustainability. Quote, any aliens receiving our message won't be surprised to hear about our climate crisis, end quote. Douglas Vakach, president of METI International, told Space.com, they've had decades to observe our plight from afar. Whether or not aliens already know about us, successfully communicating with them will be difficult. Alien life will not know our languages or understand our culture and may even interpret the universe around them differently than we do. Quote, the great challenge of interstellar communication is to establish a common ground for understanding, end quote. What was that movie where they're talking to the big squid in the tank? And,
Arrival.
Yeah, Arrival. Are you sure that's no, that's one with Charlie Sheen, right? Where their knees bent.
No, that's The Arrival. Arrival is the one where the tetrapods visit
Yes.
Earth, and they have to. Amy Adams has to figure out how to communicate. with
Right. She's got the little chalkboard with the erasable dry eraser, and it's fun. She's like, do we do shapes, colors? Yeah, but that's basically what they're talking about here. So to tackle that problem of figuring out some common ground, the Goonhilly message will begin with the periodic table of elements. Since the chemical elements are universal, any scientifically knowledgeable alien should recognize the periodic table, METI International argued. The content would create common ground for the message to then describe some of the environmental challenges we are facing here on Earth. Now, the TRAPPIST-1 system is 39 light years away, so if anyone there does detect a message, we should not expect a reply for at least 78 years. Oh,
Yeah, but
that's
that's-
rewarding work.
I know, but that's so close. 39 light years away. That feels very close, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
at
I'll
the
never
speed of
know.
light,
I'll
it
be
feels
dead.
very close.
I'll
Yeah,
be
in
long
78
gone.
years, if we haven't solved the climate crisis, I don't think this is going to matter.
Yeah, no
Just
kidding,
saying.
right? Wow.
Just
Well,
saying.
however, the likelihood is that technologically advanced alien life will be far older than us humans, since the universe is 13.8 billion years old, and we're just newcomers on the scene. The message's authors hope that this age gap could offer hope for humans facing the climate crisis. If an alien species has managed to survive perhaps millions or even billions of years, well, then it's just probably safe to assume that they'll have long ago solved any climate issues they may have faced and would now exist in a stable society.
Yeah, Riley,
Unless
they
blew
could
their
jump.
planet up.
Well, but if they blew their planet up, then they're not there to receive the message anyway.
Right. Oh, right. Yeah. Good. Well, unless they're on a spaceship, right? Maybe they're lost in space.
Maybe they're lost in space, and then our planet will be worthless to them anyway. But Riley, if they didn't blow up their planet and they saw this, they can jumpstart Earth back into, they can jumpstart it. They're going to come by. It's basically
we're like calling Interstellar AAA right now.
Yeah, that's exactly what we're doing. Because they're going to come back and they're going to be like, "Oh, we know how to reverse it. We can rebalance the climate. We just have to do these things."
They just turn it to ashes in like 10 seconds. There we go. There's the old restart on planet Earth.
That's what our planet looks like. I thought you guys wanted our help. We come from a desolate, barren ash planet.
Oh,
they're just like, they're sentient cigarette butts. And we're like, no, go back.
No, never mind.
They're UFOs, they're ashtrays.
Yeah, you guys get the idea. There's too much article left for me to finish, but
there's literally half a paragraph.
No,
left.
I'm done with it. No, I can't anymore. It just feels like it's taking forever. In my mind, it's just time is expanding as I read this thing.
Well,
I'll read the very last paragraph. However, it's unlikely that Medi International will hit pay dirt so soon, talking about getting a reply. If we get a reply from TRAPPIST-1, we'll know that the universe is chock full of intelligent life, Vakoch said. More realistically, we may need to repeat transmissions like the one to TRAPPIST-1 to hundreds, thousands, even millions of stars before we reach one that is inhabited by radio astronomers. See, isn't that fun? Like, they're searching for radio astronomers, but they're also talking about super intelligent space traversing life. But we sure hope they use AM/FM.
But they're gonna use they'll know how to use radio
astronomy.
Yeah. Okay. And they'll know that it's a rudimentary science for planets where they're looking for life that's younger than them, Yeah. The problem is if we hit a planet that's younger than us and there's still dinosaurs over there. I mean, then what?
There really could be a time and place, and maybe even in our lifetimes, where we're sending signals out, we're getting responses. Maybe this thing could open up. Like, I mean, who knows,
you did a real turnaround on that one, Bryce. You went from wah wah to like, you know what? Maybe this will work.
You know what? Maybe this is a good idea. Well, I like it's better. At least it's active, right? Like as opposed to SETI just waiting there with all those satellites. We're putting stuff out there. We're making content. We're Earth content creators.
The way that, I mean, it does sound like the way they described METI, a group of scientists, sociologists, historians, anthropologists, and artists. I mean, that basically does sound. That also just sounds like the evil collective from Watchmen. I mean, it does sound like that's like classic. That's like classic comic book trope where you're like, oh, these guys are awesome, and then you find out that they're gonna like wipe out half the planet, to save the environment. You're like, wait a minute, this is Thanos.
Man,
yeah, I don't know. Good. We'll see.
I mean, there was no climate crisis before industrialization, so I don't know.
Very true.
Something to be said for those.
Yep. All right.
Never mind. It's a great idea. The aliens will save us. Please save us, aliens.
So I don't have to worry about it, right?
Yeah, we don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like, it really is like, before we go to break, I just do want to say, no one is coming to save us. We have to do this ourselves.
Truly. Just to be clear.
No one's coming. No one is coming to save us, guys. Let's take a break. And when we come back, we'll see if we can save this episode of BCC. Okay, everybody, it's time to dig into those L files. I've got one right here. We're going to kick it off. This involves a video that the listener said we could share. So, boys, at your respective desks. Please pull the video up and get it ready. And if you're listening at home, this video will be available on our Instagram page at Bigfoot Collectors Club, so you'll be able to watch it there. All right, here we go. Hello, BCC. I recently discovered your podcast via the Monsters Among Us podcast. Shout out Derek Hayes. And you guys are a lot of fun to listen to. I haven't submitted this potential UFO sighting anywhere yet, other than a post on Facebook and to family. Okay, see, this is the kind of stuff I'm talking about.
Yeah, this is good.
It was an early riser. I was an early riser, at the time in 2019. I would often get up at 4 a.m. to go to the gym. I lived in Mar Vista. For those who don't know, it's a small town tucked between Culver City and Santa Monica. So this is right in our backyard, boys. That's me, not the writer. I lived on a hill, which gave me a great view of the distant ocean on clear days. On this particular morning around 4:30 a.m., I noticed something odd over Santa Monica and immediately started to record with my phone, having to zoom in a bit, hence the slight grainy quality. In the video, you can hear me talking to my Uncle Ray, as I planned on sending this video to him because he and I share a love for all things otherworldly and unexplained. Nice. We all need an Uncle Ray in our life, don't we?
Yeah, we do.
Mm-hmm. So the video and the lights were hovering, and I initially thought it was one big triangular craft. Then it started to spin slightly, never losing altitude, and one light faded, then started to lightly blink and float off to the left. I didn't get the rest of this in the video, but the other two continued to spin, and one faded, then flew off to the right, similar to the one that initially went left, while the other just faded away. I couldn't find anything on military helicopters doing something of this sort, and being as steady as these lights were, also I feel like there's always some sort of blinking light associated with such craft, and there wasn't at first with any of these three. If you have any idea to what this could be, I'd love to hear it. Please feel free to share this video picture as you see fit. Thank you, Nick. So I don't know if you guys... pull this up. The rest of you go over to Instagram. Take a look at this video. It does, like, he's filming into the night sky. You see some apartment buildings and buildings on the ground, but it does look to be a black triangle craft. That was the first thing that I thought as well. Right. Now you'll see it's rotating, and at first I thought that the lights, as they fade, they're just disappearing behind the edge of the craft that's turning, towards camera. But he says that, the individual lights either faded or flew off. So it sounds like these three lights break apart and go in different directions.
Wow. Now, are you guys looking at a video or the photo?
Yeah, well, there's a photo and there's a video.
Okay. I'm downloading the video right now.
We'll put the video up as well. So
okay. Right, cool.
While we wait for Bryce to take a look at the video, Riley, what are your thoughts?
I'm watching it, and it is pretty crazy. It doesn't look like helicopters to me.
No.
Yeah, at first it did look, as you described, it looked like one large craft. Now I'm watching it, and the first light has just sort of vanished.
Yeah, because you think it's like, this is classic black triangle with like UFOs that people see with like the lights of the points of the triangle.
Right. Oh, and now one just popped up over there.
Mm-hmm.
When he was writing about where he is, I was like, well, that's like right on the flight path of LAX. So I was like, oh, that's probably going to be something explainable by that. But then when I watched this, it doesn't look like that at all. Yeah.
Oh, I'm watching the video now. Yeah, I feel like I can see the hard edge of the triangle. That it does look like a black triangle to me, for sure.
But the one on the bottom right moves in.
But could that be the far?
The top one disappears.
Could that be the far point? If you're picturing a light at the end of each triangle, like
turning away,
rotating and turning away, so it would look like it was fading when it's really just hidden behind the edge of the craft on the other side of the craft.
Right. Yeah.
And then the one when it comes back around on the left, it is blinking, which then it does kind of look like a plane, but it's not. I don't know. There's definitely something the way, and it's just hovering there too, right?
It is. Yeah. I mean, I suppose it could be helicopters that are getting obscured by
or an optical illusion of a plane, flying
some sort of
towards
illusion
him.
created by distance or something like that. And you're not perceiving the blinking lights of the craft because it's far enough away, but you're seeing maybe like, do planes have headlights? Is that a thing? I don't know.
Yeah, they have flight
They
lights,
do, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe it could be some sort of something like that, but I'm definitely not discounting this at all. This is a really interesting video.
It's cool. It's one of the cooler ones I've seen. Bryce, what do you think?
Yeah, man. I don't know. It's like you said, when I first pulled up the video, I see what looks like a triangular craft, you know. I feel like I definitely see the edge of that triangle. Yeah, it's weird, man. Now, is he saying that the lights on this on each apex of the triangle, they moved individually and they did separate things? Is that right?
He says after he stopped the video, this is the other thing that the one on the left flew, like one flew off to the left, one flew off to the right, and another the remaining one just disappeared.
Yeah, because that's UFO behavior, right? So, like, you know, people do report, like, especially in these triangular craft encounters, like sometimes formations. Yeah, they'll see like one of the ends of the triangle, like, you know, separate from the main craft and become like a scout vehicle, or like, you know, exhibit its own light and then like come back to the mothership. And it does all kinds of strange shit that a regular, you know, metallic craft shouldn't be able to do. Like, you know?
Maybe they're like three separate crafts or orbs that sort of like lock in a like triangular formation and can move as if they're one unit, but then they can also move individually, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like a Power Rangers kind of phenomenon.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, exactly.
But it'd be like there's an invisible structure there that they like all sync up and then it moves as one triangle. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like mathematically perfectly, I would imagine, is in my head.
I have to say, now that I've watched this a few times while we're talking, this does not look like the movement of planes on a flight path at all.
I don't think so either. They don't move that slowly.
And
I grew up next to an airport. I used to watch planes.
Yeah,
I used to watch planes all the time growing up, and it doesn't. I don't know. Let us know what you guys think, listeners. Nick, I think you might have a genuine UFO video, but you know we don't know. But I'd love to hear what our Club Scouts think. Please leave your comments in our Instagram.
Either way, keep grinding it out at 4 a.m. Good on you, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, this next story is actually a voice memo. We got a good old-fashioned voice memo sent in. This never really got off the ground, but listener Julie sent us. Would you guys want to hear it?
Yeah.
Love to. Yeah.
Here we go.
Hi, guys. So I've been an avid listener for about 3.5 years now, which says a lot about how awesome you guys are. Considering the number of podcasts I've tried, I don't know, maybe I'm just too picky. So anyway, I think I saw something the other day. I was in my front yard and I was watching a pair of bald eagles riding the thermals when another bird flew into view. It was at a slightly I'm so sorry, guys. It was at a slightly lower altitude. Only it looked more like a line, like a flying rectangle. The birds, the two eagles, they didn't register it. They didn't look at it. Nothing. They just kept doing their thing. And, I don't know, maybe it was enough away that it just didn't pose a threat. So anyways, as I'm watching this, whatever it is, it never flaps its wings. It never pitches or yaws or rolls or whatever those aeronautical terms are that airplanes do and birds. It just continued to fly and then got over the tree line and then just slowly dropped until it was out of sight. So that's my story. Anyways, love you guys. Totally enjoy the show. Keep up the good work. Kisses.
What do you think, guys? Pterosaur? Mothman? What do we got?
Or plastic bag.
Or kite who's lost its string.
Right.
Alien bird, perhaps? I don't know.
It was...
but where is she living that she's watching bald eagles in her front yard? Like,
man.
Julie's doing something
doing it right. I'm telling you what.
Definitely. I mean, what do you think, Michael? How would you
I don't know. I mean, it's just one of those, like, at least you have birds there that you're watching to compare it to, you know, and you're like, this is moving differently than this. I mean, who knows what this is, right? It's funny because we got another email sent in. Someone had, it was so hard to decipher. It took me repeated viewings until I saw it, but like somebody had sent in another video of some strange that they caught on the news of a shot of like the bridge in their city, of this thing shooting at high speeds under the bridge. And it's like, okay, that could be a bird. It's hard to tell. I don't know, but this sounds strange that it didn't, you know, there were no flapping wings, but it's making me think that there's some new winged cryptid activity going on out there. And if that's the case, I'm excited about that.
Yeah, man. Always waiting to discover the new cryptid, right? Because obviously this shit happens, man. People report strange stuff. I wonder what the next big cryptid will be.
But don't you remember in the stories of like the owl man, the Cornish owl man?
Yeah.
And I think in other stories of cryptids where they would talk about, eyewitnesses were like, the thing would be hovering above the tree, but it wouldn't be flapping its wings. The wings would be extended, but it would be sort of bobbing and like, hovering there.
Like floating. Yeah. A lot of these things float, don't use their wings. They're just sort of lazily moving about the sky. Yeah.
It's almost like it's a visual representation of what the thing is, interpretation instead of like the actual physical thing. So I don't know. I don't know, Julie. I would say keep watching those bald eagles. And if you see anything else weird, please let us know.
Definitely.
And maybe film it.
Yeah.
Send it to us.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
Get the camera out there and have a little, you know what? Why don't you listen to BCC and watch those birds and keep a camera handy and see if you see anything weird like that again. Have your little BCC break. We're making you work and listen to the podcast at the same time.
Yeah. You work for the podcast now, so congratulations. We don't pay, but we offer college credit.
All right, Bryce. Thank you, Julie. Bryce, what do you have for us?
All right, here we go. Hey, Bigfoot boys. Had a short story to share inspired by a recent Expedition Bigfoot. It's been a bucket list item of mine to camp on a beach. Last summer, I took my 8-year-old daughter, fan of the podcast, and a friend from work who is also now a fan. Thank you. I love that. That's great. And we went backpacking one night on 3rd Beach. Bryce, this may sound familiar. In season 2, you went to 2nd Beach, where the local tribal member was talking about the disappearing crouching Bigfoot. They're basically neighboring. I know exactly where you're talking about. So I know this can be a bear area, so I was a bit on alert, especially with my kiddo there. But of course, always on alert for Squatch. So you have to put your tents way up, so high that the tide doesn't get you in the night. Now, you can see in the one pic our orange tent in the distance there, nestled by that hill. There was about 4 more parties camping on the beach, but everyone was quite spread out. So we weren't alone, but it was darn quiet and isolating nonetheless. So my friend and daughter fell fast asleep, snoring all night. I basically laid there awake with this terrified feeling the entire night. I played it off somewhat to my worry about bears, though we are avid campers. I kept trying to peer out the window of the tent, but obviously it was beyond pitch black. At some point during the night, rocks started hitting the side of our tent. Of course, my first thought, Bigfoot throws rocks. Attempting to talk myself off a ledge, I said it must be erosion. We're in a harsh environment, though it wasn't windy in the least, but anyone who's been to these cold Pacific beaches know even when the wind is calm, the environment is relentless. But after I saw the recent episode, I had to write in. That rock fall Ronnie and Maria experienced on the bank of that river, identical. That is exactly what I experienced. As if something on the top of the ledge was kicking them down, or at least up there moving around. Smaller rocks, larger rocks. Definitely didn't help me calm down and sleep as I envisioned how big of a rock could hit our heads, and my vision all night that something big was hanging out up there. This wasn't anything I saw warnings about when preparing to camp there, and reading tons of camp reviews don't mention, like, be aware when choosing tent placement. And both the afternoon before bed and the next morning when we were just eating, hanging out, enjoying the enormity of this wilderness, we didn't experience the rock fall. It was just during that stretch of dark night. Anyway, had to share, included a few pics of the gorgeous but eerie spot. Keep doing what you're doing, Annie. Wow.
Yeah.
This is incredible.
Also, Annie, very smart to go to the Yelp reviews and be like, let's see if anybody else has experienced this rock fall. That's honestly super smart.
No doubt about it.
Totally.
I like that you're doing your due diligence of just being like, oh, okay. But it is strange, Bryce. Don't you think that it was just in that, as she says, dark stretch of night?
Yes, man. That's great. I mean, when you're out there and you're feeling vulnerable in your tent, man, every little sound, every little branch break, every rock is like, enlarged. But hitting your tent, that's crazy. That's like a little too close for comfort. I don't like that.
And it is interesting that the smaller rocks obviously hit the tent. So you could think logically, I'm thinking if I'm a intelligent Sasquatch up there, and I'm going to throw the little rock because I don't want to hurt them. I'm going to get their attention, kind of like throwing pebbles at the window. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
to wake up your friend. You get their attention, then you start showing off your strength by being like, okay, so I can hit you, right? Well, I can also pick this up, and then boom, donk, donk, here comes a heavier rock,
Refrigerator,
Interesting.
Cars.
Yeah.
Toronto.
But sending that message of like, I can hit you if I want to, so you should probably just know that you're getting close to my territory here.
Oh, totally. You would have to imagine these creatures are incredible shots with these rocks because, what I think is interesting in a lot of these reports I read about rocks being thrown at them, usually they're like so close to their target, like they'll hit like a tree right by their face, or it's almost as if the witness knows that they were being missed on purpose. You know what I mean? That if these creatures wanted to hit him square in the face with a stone, they could easily accomplish that. Perhaps it's a hunting tool,
Well, of course. I mean, if you live out in the woods and you're like a nature man, or a nature animal, I guess all animals are nature animals.
Yeah, I'm a nature man. Yeah, no, I'm with you.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Let's go down this road. Yes.
You have so much. I mean, yes, you're spending all your time surviving and hunting and gathering, but like, if you're that intelligent, you're going to spend a lot of time practicing throwing rocks and getting really good at it.
Yeah.
You know 100%. What I mean?
Yep. Totally. Yeah. It's probably a great way to kill little animals too, like for little snacks, like a little squirrel or a bird.
Yep.
Just eat it right up on the go.
Little Squatch bites. Yeah.
Now I'm imagining like,
yeah, that's right.
Now I'm imagining like little chipmunks' heads exploding with like rocks being thrown at them, but then a Bigfoot walking up and just,
yeah.
Squatch snack. What was it? What did you say?
Squatch snacks. Yeah.
Squatch
Squatch bites.
Squatch bites. There's small bites and then there's Squatch bites.
Yeah. I like though, Michael, what you were saying, because like that is a form of communication, right? It's like communicating its skill, it's communicating its intelligence. Mm-hmm. It's like it's sending a message, which is beyond just sort of like an animal, like it's something else, something with a awareness, consciousness, and the desire to communicate, which is very interesting.
Yeah,
that what's that message? Like, don't leave your tent at night. Like, leave in the morning. You're allowed a one night stay on Third Beach. Like what?
Yeah, I think it's got to be like
11.
I think it's just a way of saying like, be careful out here because you are not this is like you are not. This isn't public land.
You're not at home.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Totally.
This is somebody else's land, so watch yourself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then
and
just showing
it's not public land. All those beaches along that coastal area are private. They're indigenous lands all along that coast.
I guess I meant it belongs to Bigfoot, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I knew what you meant. Yeah. But I was just saying those are very private beaches.
Yes.
Right. So it's not like just like some kids up on the hill.
Yeah. Oh, I see. Yeah. So I think it's that. I think it's like saying I can hit you and I can hurt you if need be. So this is just a warning shot to let you know, like
totally.
If you're just in your tent, you're hanging out, you're not going to mess with us. That's fine, but you're not alone out here. So don't just be aware. I also think that put your tents way up high so the tide doesn't get you in the night is definitely a BJ and the Shadow Bats lyric. So we'll have to put that on.
That's good.
Put that on the list. All right, Riley, what do you got for us?
All right. Here we go. Hi, Michael, Bryce, and Riley.
Hello.
Hello.
Bryce. There we go. I'm a huge fan, and I just had to share this. After watching the last 2 episodes of the new season of Expedition Bigfoot, it has me really thinking that I may have seen a Bigfoot and not a ghostly shadow person. Please let me know what you think of my experience. Almost 19 years ago, towards the end of summer, after sundown, my husband asked me to turn the water off outside for the sprinklers. I grabbed a flashlight and headed out to the turnoff at the backside of the house. I leaned over and turned off the water and heard something hit our neighbor's wooden fence. I looked up and swung the flashlight towards the noise. The neighbor's 6-foot wooden fence started at the middle of their house, went towards our house about 10 feet, then turned and went along our backyard, separating our properties. On the side of the 10-foot section was a black humanoid mass. It had its quote-unquote, horrible. It had its quote-unquote hands on the top of the fence. So this is a 6-foot fence, is a tall,
He's Mr. Wilsoning it.
Yeah, fully.
Or Wilson.
Yeah. Is that a Home Improvement reference?
Yep, it sure was.
Wow.
Taking it back.
What if Wilson's a Bigfoot? We never saw his face.
It's possible.
Plot twist. That's. Anyways, it had its hands on the top of the fence and it turned its head toward me. The head was huge and its eyes reflected the light like a cat or dog eyes. It looked at me for a second, turned back toward the fence and climbed over and into the neighbor's backyard. Whoa. The only noise it made was the slight scraping of the fence. I stood there for a second, turned, and went back inside. I told my husband that was the last time I will go outside at night by myself in the backyard. And told him what had happened. Maybe tell the neighbor that a shadow person just climbed into their yard? I don't know. The next morning, I realized that the neighbor's Rottweiler that is always outside did not bark at the shadow person. The poor thing must have been really scared, or it knew this thing that jumped into its backyard. I also went out front to investigate a little more. The day before, we had dug up a large tree on the side of the... sorry. Now I'm like that listener leaving a voicemail. The day before, we had dug up a large tree on the side of our house that had overgrown into the neighbor's yard. The fresh level soil did not have any footprints from whatever had went over that fence. If something with any weight would have went through there, it would have left some kind of tracks. I can't wait to hear what you all think. Keep up the excellent work. Love you guys. Amy from Southwestern Washington State.
Wow.
Southeastern.
Washington State. Yeah.
Well, Bryce, you're our resident Bigfoot expert. What's your take on this story?
Yeah, dude, I have no idea. That's got to be a Sasquatch or something, right?
But no tracks, right? That's weird.
Man.
Maybe it was tiptoeing.
Yeah, who knows? Who knows?
Levitating. I mean, there was eye shine, which is interesting because it's like a shadow figure, but it had eye shine.
Yeah.
So that's odd.
That's creepy.
Yeah, I don't.
Humanoid behavior climbs.
Yeah, it seems physical. It seems like so. I think there's some clues here that the dog that's always outside did not bark at the. They're calling it a shadow person, but
right, basically, yeah.
I wonder if that dog has smelled that Sasquatch before, and he and the Sasquatch are friends.
It's a possibility, right?
I love that idea.
Not how I thought I was going to end that sentence, but that's what.
Yeah, totally.
I mean, I'm interested, Amy, if you could smell anything, because there's no scent described, right? So either the Rottweiler was inside while this happened, or the dog is cool with the Bigfoot. And then I also think it's interesting that this happened the day after they dug up a large tree.
Yeah, right.
Oh, right, because they've kind of changed the land, or kind of maybe
yes. I mean,
by
she brings up that it didn't leave any footprints, in the soil. But I'm wondering if digging up the tree was a trigger for this paranormal event. What if it was
Certainly
the spirit
possible.
of the tree and
I
it
mean,
was
do you
moving
remember-
on?
In the old book Hunt for Skinwalker by George Knapp, remember they got on the land, the new rancher and the farmer, and they were told, just don't dig anything up. It was like as if
Right.
digging on the property sort of drummed up these paranormal experiences, or they escalated them, and so it became like this thing to not dig on that property. I don't know, maybe that was a sacred tree or a special tree, or I have no idea, but maybe,
Or it's just-
it might be tied to that,
It's just, you hear stories about, I don't even think the tree has to be sacred or special. It could just be the disturbance of the land where this thing either roams or, like I said, if you want to get real spooky about it, what if like, let's just throw a big idea out there. What if Sasquatches are literally tree spirits, that they, because we hear about this, right? That they
Sure.
peek out of trees, they climb up
Yeah.
trees, like we'll talk about this on the Patreon, but like on your show, there's like footage of these like thermals picking up and then disappearing at the treetops, right? I know
Yeah.
this is a wild idea. I'm not saying I believe any of this, but it's like, so what if the tree was cut down, dug up, and the spirit of the tree was like, shit, I got to go find a new tree to inhabit, or I got to move on.
Man, I don't have a problem with that. I like that.
Or it's this, you will hear about, oh my God. And then what if when you build a house, haunted houses are just the tree spirits. They're just Bigfoot ghosts in your house.
Right. Well, isn't that the idea of what elementals are, right? It's basically
Yes.
sort of this collective consciousness of one of the elements of Earth, whether it's fire, water, wood, air, and maybe you're right. Maybe there's something to that. I mean, Carl Jung used to think that we as a collective could manifest psychic phenomena. So why couldn't also an organism like a forest, manifest its own type of phenomena?
Yeah. What if it's not even Sasquatch or a real Sasquatch? It's like a tree psychically projecting an image of some form of protector to help keep people out of the forest and then help.
Sure.
Because when we hear stories about Sasquatch, at least in the Western tradition, European settler tradition, the first people to encounter them were loggers who were cutting down trees.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I think I figured it out.
I mean, hey, man. Pretty good. I like it.
If to test this theory further,
Yeah,
I'd be
yeah.
interested in what is happening in the rainforests that are being clear cut. Then, I keep taking it back to this ecological devastation thing. I guess that's on my mind today. But you know what I mean, though. It's like if we're talking about one tree in a yard,
Riley,
and we
I'm
get
not
a
saying this
shadow
plan
person.
is working. I'm not saying I'm not even
It
saying
would just be
this
like paranormal free for all in these, palm oil
No,
fields.
I
and,
know
Good
that.
point. Good point.
I know that. I guess I'm just, you hear stories of that a lot of times houses have paranormal activity when like walls are being knocked down and renovations are
Right.
happening on a house. So I just wonder, in all seriousness, I'm taking
Right.
it to the by the way, I'm totally sober, the like stoner level of thinking here, just to think outside of the box. But like, I just wondered if like, it is interesting that there is a clue, I think, there that the tree was disturbed and the next day or that night this thing shows up. Could be
I do
there
agree.
could be
That does feel
correlation
relevant.
there.
Yeah.
Or if this is a Sasquatch, it's like, this is my land. I'm the guardian of this land. He heard that tree being chopped down and then came down there to be like, what the heck happened here?
Yeah. Or
I don't
it's just
know.
a shadow person. Maybe it's completely separate from Bigfoot and or any psychic phenomena. Maybe who knows what these shadow entities are that people are encountering. Not only at the end of their beds, but now I guess apparently in the woods too.
I think the tree had something to do with it. I really do. It could just be a coincidence, but I don't know.
The moral of the story, though, at the end of the day, is husbands, just go turn off the sprinklers yourself.
Yeah.
Get up and do your job.
Just do your job. Come on.
Your wife might encounter a scary Lorax. You don't want that.
Yeah, we can't having that.
All right, boys. What do you think? Do we have time for one more tonight?
Yeah, let's get into it. Let's do one more.
Here we go. Okay, here we go. I'm a loyal patron, and I've listened to every show you've ever done. I look forward to Wednesdays every week, and I'm always excited when The Other Side comes out. And my kiddo and I listen together when I'm driving to school. No judgment, Michael. He loves Bullshit or Believe It, though he's starting to question the existence of Santa Claus. Well, don't look at me.
Sorry.
I'm the one giving Santa spoilers left and right. Your show and Expedition Bigfoot have inspired our own Sasquatch hunting adventures.
Oh, nice.
I thought I'd share a couple stories from my life that have persuaded me that ghosts, bringing it back to the supernatural, are real. I was a senior in high school, and my family and I road tripped from our home in northwestern New Jersey to Gettysburg. Oh, my parents used to go there a lot. That was Colonial Williamsburg. Never mind. It would be weird if my parents took romantic vacations to Gettysburg. I don't know. Maybe that's what people do. By the way, this is all Michael, not the reader. But this story doesn't take place in Gettysburg, for a listener. Rather, our return trip through Pennsylvania, we spent the night... Why did you take me all the way to Gettysburg just to put me back in Pennsylvania?
Context,
We spent the night at the Jean Bonnet, or Jean Bonnet, Tavern in the small town of Bedford, Pennsylvania. A tavern and inn that dates to sometime around 1762. We arrived at the Jean Bonnet after dark, and my dad, mom, sister, and I, and my uncle, aunt, and two small cousins piled out of our cars, walked up the wooden steps to the ground floor of the Stone Tavern. We entered on the ground floor, which was still a working bar where locals were tossing back drinks. The innkeeper directed us to the old wooden staircase that led to the second floor, where the guest rooms were located. By the way, this is the top floor. This might be important, but I can't tell because you took us to Gettysburg, and then that wasn't even part of the story. We were the only visitors staying in the night. I'm sure they couldn't have been original, but the stairs were extremely worn and dusty, and the beams that held up the wood-planked top floor were so old that they had bowed in the middle.
Bowed,
right?
Bowed.
Okay, I had it right.
Yeah, they bowed. Yeah.
Listen, I'm an actor. I only know about bowing.
We need to get Gary in here to,
we do need Gary. Gary should finish his letter.
Linguistically, man, either way is phenomenal, man. Bowed, bowed, broad, beard. It's all the same word.
Thanks, Gary.
Far out.
Meaning the dimly lit hallway that ran down the center of the building was noticeably lower than where the floor met the old stone outer walls. On top of that, the glass in the windows, which also surely couldn't have been original, was so old that it had run, as very old glass does. So any view out of the tavern through these upstairs windows was warped and distorted. I knew nothing of the Jean Bonnet, or Jean Bonnet, or Jean Bonnet, before our arrival, being a punk 17-year-old on a forced family trip. All I knew was what I saw walking in. This place was old, dark, and creepy. That's all you had to say. I swung open the door to my room, and I hesitantly ventured in. It was dark, with more warped glass windows on two walls. Like the hallway, the wood-planked floor was old, worn, and dusty. The old furniture was an antique bedside table, a small worn rug, and a small four-post... Okay, who are you, George R.R. Martin? Let's just
So we're talking old here.
We're talking old. I tossed my backpack onto the bed. I moved across the empty room towards one of the windows to see if there was any kind of view. It was then that the atmosphere changed in the room. Like the air pressure had suddenly increased, and I had heard a noise that made my skin prickle and feel hot from a rush of adrenaline. Have you ever been in a theater after lights go down and the play is about to start? Can you remember the noise of dozens of people whispering all around you, but being unable to understand what they're saying? That's what I heard. Suddenly, all around me, I could hear whispering voices. I ran out of the room as quickly as I could and joined my family in the hallway so we could head to dinner in the semi-basement of the tavern, which was a restaurant built into the side of a hill. Though I was shaken, I didn't mention my experience, thinking I'd imagined it. But when we walked into the restaurant, I saw that the walls were covered in old newspaper and magazine clippings about how the tavern was haunted.
Ew.
As I said, I had no idea of the... What?
That was very Valley Girl. I was like, ew.
Oh, gross.
Grody. Old newspaper articles on the windows. Like, Gross.
As I said, I had no idea of the inn's reputation, but years later, after recounting the story, I searched the internet to see if the place had a website. Eventually, I found it, and a quick look at the folklore page of the site made me think that my experience may have been more than mere imagination. Tales of spirits and inanimate objects moving seemingly by themselves are not uncommon in the tavern. It may not seem like much, but the experience made such an impression on me that it caused me to believe that ghosts, whatever they are real.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ghosts are real.
That's what we've been saying. Yeah.
There we
Man,
go.
I wish I had a local haunted bar to drink at. That sounds
Especially from 1762.
right. Yeah. I also like picturing that he was like said he was like a punk, like this like little punk rocker, like writing this very sort of beautiful description of furniture and the dusty walls and dripping glass and stuff. It was nicely written. I mean,
yes, thank you. That's from
bit,
Sean in Oregon, who also has another ghost story that I think we'll probably save for another time. But yeah, I also like the fact that, like, of course, the punk's gonna like pick up on all the grime, you know. Like,
Hell yeah, man. Yeah, that's creepy though. The whispering, I don't like that. Yeah.
Yeah, that was similar. I've told this story. Yeah.
You guys hear
like,
something?
I don't like that. And
Yeah, no.
I know it's you guys. That's similar to that
What are you talking
story
about?
I told when I was in London and lived above an abandoned pub that was being refurbished.
Oh, right, yeah.
And one night, a friend and I were walking past the pub, and we could hear the sounds. The empty pub. We could hear the sounds of plates and drinks clacking and people talking as if it was as if the place were full. It was the weirdest thing. So there is something to it. And I think it's always fun to be justified later, like, that was weird. And then you find out, oh, I'm in a haunted house, you know?
I feel
Right.
like it's hard to scare a drunk. You know what I mean? Because you're like, once you're kind of two sheets in, you're like, I don't care. You know, like stuff's flying
Totally.
by, and like, you know, you're like, I'm here for it. I'm not moving.
Come on
Ghosts
over and
are
give me a
real.
kiss.
Yeah. Why are you being so distant? Come on over and
Come on
smooch
over
me.
here. Come and talk to me.
It's a very lecherous
right.
drunk, you guys. Being out here.
All right, the girls are barking. I think that's our cue to wrap up this week's episode of Bigfoot Collectors Club. Thank you for sending in your L Files reminder. If you got a story, send it in. Violet's telling you, BigfootCollectorsClub@gmail.com. We will be doing some shout outs after we sign off, so stick around for those. But real quick, guys, you have any plugs? Riley, Bryce, go for it.
I mean, I'm going to plug the second tier of the Patreon, which is Riley's special place.
It's Riley's Special Feelings Corner.
That's right. It's literally what it is. I'm dropping scores. I'm dropping demos. I'm writing thoughtful letters about how I make music and what I think about life. And I really love it. It's really great. Those of you that are members of it, thank you so much for giving me this outlet. And I'm really trying to give you your money's worth. It's an extra $4 a month. If you're already on the Patreon, it brings you up to $9 a month. I know that's kind of a lot, but like we really, I can't express enough how much we appreciate you guys being on there. And we are, I mean, on the Patreon entirely, we're really trying to give you your money's worth. And in Riley's special corner, I'm really trying to do the same. What do we actually call it?
It's called the
Was it cosmic
ultra-terrestrial tier.
Ultra-terrestrial tier.
Where you drop cosmic
Right.
tracks.
Look,
But I
look,
think,
Riley's special corner is fine. However, it can change week to week. Whatever.
you know,
whatever
depending on
Riley's
how
feeling for
Riley's
that.
feeling that day.
Yeah. I mean, I think Michael had a vision for it and I immediately took it off the rails. But that's
No,
what happens when you give me my own part of the Patreon.
No, I absolutely disagree. I think it's doing. I mean, I didn't expect you. I'll be honest. I did not expect you to write a journal entry every week, but I love it. You know what I mean? And I know that the listeners do too. And if you're listening and going, man, that music I just heard in this episode would be great, is great, and I would love to hear it without Michael talking over it, then that's what you get on the ultra terrestrial tier. You get these ambient tracks and you get some original demos from Riley's own brain that he's sharing with you guys. So I think it's awesome.
Right, and you can download it and keep it in your music library.
Exactly.
It's like the ambient music is really fun. I mean, I listen to a lot of ambient music, not my own ambient music, but sometimes my own. Like while I'm just like hanging out in the house or reading or whatever. It's just like really nice kind of like background stuff. So you can, build up a little music library from BCC.
Nice.
Yeah, this is
Love
a good
that.
reminder. Like, the Patreon too, you have your own RSS link and you can listen to it just like you do this podcast on your favorite podcast app. You don't have to be sitting on the website listening to it, although that's fine too. And those tracks, like Riley's saying, you can download them. They're yours to keep and save on your device forever. So you get to keep that stuff. So that's, same goes with the episodes that we drop over there. You can download all of those. All right, Bryce,
So when you think about it, it's like $1 a song, which is like iTunes,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Bryce, what do you got?
Speaking of keeping of stuff, go visit our merch shop. Get yourself a cool new black hoodie.
We already did a merch ad.
with the Wolf Bros. Oh yeah, well, and you know what? Hey, we are in the midst of season 3 of Expedition Bigfoot, airing on Sunday nights, Travel Channel and Discovery Plus. Hell of a season. Go join us over there.
Absolutely. And we'll be talking about that on the Patreons very soon. I have another podcast called Slate Your Name, where I talk to other actors about the ups and downs of working in Hollywood. Check that out on your favorite podcast app as well. I'm already 2 months in. I'm having a blast. Bryce was on it. You can check out his episode in this very feed. It's great. And you know what? At some point, I got to have Riley on just to talk about what it's like being a musician in Hollywood.
That's a great idea.
Why the fuck
I was
not?
I was in a commercial once.
There you go.
Actually, I've been in 2
Boom.
commercials. So you live in LA long enough, they put you in a commercial.
Exactly. There you go. It's very true. All right, everybody. Stick around for Patreon shout-outs. For the rest of y'all, good night.
And go get regressed. Bigfoot Collectors Club is produced by Riley Bray and Michael McMillan and scored and engineered by Riley Bray. Our theme song, Come Alone, is by Suneaters, courtesy of Lotuspool Records. Do us a favor and support the show and unlock 3 bonus episodes every month by becoming a member of our Patreon, BCC The Other Side, which can be found at patreon.com/BigfootCollectorsClub.
All right, let's do some shouties.
All right,
Boom.
it's time for the
Shouties.
BCC Shouty Awards. These are all the people that we're thanking who joined the Patreon since we came back from our hiatus in January. Sorry it's taken so long to thank you because, honestly, I just didn't realize that much time had gone by. I don't know what's happening. Time is moving too quickly. But let's get into it. Boys, get your thank yous ready, starting with Bryce. First person, Nova Zero.
Thanks, Nova.
Justin Sergey.
Thank you.
Sarah Stenquist.
Thank you.
Ross Cheever.
Thanks, Ross.
Demi Ray.
Thank you.
Ian Sayre.
Thank you.
Alan Kapowski.
Thanks, Alan.
Ryan Boole.
Thank you.
Brian Jones.
Thank you.
Like from the
Jason.
Rolling Stones?
Wait a minute. Brian
Sorry.
Jones. I remember now also Ryan told me how to say his name on the air because he's commented and now I feel like I've messed it up again. I think I called him Bewley or Buell. I think it's Buell.
Probably
Brian
Buell.
Buell. I'm going with Buell. Yeah. You have the hard job in this scenario.
I know. Guys, I really shouldn't be doing it. Jason Wissinger.
Thank you.
Antonio Vento.
Thank you.
Ben Schroeder.
Thank you.
Tori.
Thank you.
Thomas Kelly.
Thanks, Thomas.
Una Rose.
Thanks, Una.
Tamara Peak.
Thank you.
Gordon Sternberg.
Thank you.
Nimbus Fly Hunter.
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
Joey Miller.
Thanks, Joey.
Nimbus also supports Slate Your Name in the Green Room, but that's a different show. Thank you, Nimbus. Randall L. Nall. Sorry.
Thanks,
Randall
Randall.
L. Nall. Manny Villalobos.
Thank you.
Chris Sweet.
Thank you.
Annie Saunders.
Thank you.
Cameron Ronnies.
Thanks.
Nicole Chisholm.
Thanks, Nicole.
Sharon.
Thanks, Sharon.
Christina Niddle.
Thank you.
Julie Steiger. That was Julie who sent in the voicemail. Thank you, Julie.
Oh, thank you, Julie.
Thanks, Julia. Thanks for your
James-
support for
James
all the years.
Verberg.
Thank you.
Danny Moe.
Thank you.
Timothy.
Thank you.
Stephanie Woodard.
Thank you.
Crystal.
Thanks, Crystal.
James Barnes.
Thanks, James.
Tyson Stoddard.
Thanks, Tyson.
MW8.
Thank you.
Ian Swerka.
Thank you.
Thomas Merska.
Thank you.
Katie Hare.
Thanks, Katie.
Hunter Smith.
Thanks, Hunter.
Stephanie Powers.
Thank you.
Shannon Watson.
Thanks, Shannon.
David Impson.
Thank you.
Freedom Masters.
Thank you.
Okay, these next two are absurd. Waffles.
Yeah, thanks, Waffles.
Rubber Dicky.
Thanks, Dickie.
It could be Ducky, but I think it did say Dicky. If not,
Hey,
I'll think
either
Rubber
way,
Ducky
wait.
too.
Whatever gets you through the night.
Jude Temple.
Thanks, Jude.
Ian Allister.
Thank you.
Brandon.
Thanks, Brandon.
Isaac Carrillo. Oh, sorry. Let me back that up.
Whoa.
Isaac Carrillo.
Thank you.
Or Carrillo. Samantha Spirito.
Thank you, Samantha.
Brett Stinson.
Thank you.
Sakara Jenkins.
Thank you, Sakara.
Rebecca Lagore.
Thank you.
Mike Astor.
Thanks, Mike.
And of course, last but not least, Jackalope Jake.
Woo!
Thanks, Jake.
All right. Thank you, guys. Woo!
There have
Right
been
on.
so many in that first round, and by the way, this isn't all of them. That people, I could see people had dropped out and come back. They were in there twice. So I know we have a lot of people dipping in and out. That's cool. Well, thank you every time you come back and see us.
However it works for you.
We appreciate it. All right, guys, this is it. This is really the end of the show. Good night,
And go get regressed.
and thank you.
Thank you.